Hi guys, it's Sam here with Bargain Hunting Blonde, and today I'm here to chat with you guys about everything that has happened with Balenciaga. So I am not really going to go into the details of the campaign and everything that happened. I will link some articles down below if you don't know what I'm talking about, but short version is Balenciaga released a campaign with children in it and teddy bears that were in kind of like BDSM looking attire. They also released part of this photo shoot with a book in the background about an artist who used very kind of almost like very bad imagery with children. And then underneath a bag, one of their hourglass bags, was also the printout of a Supreme Court case regarding child pornography. And yeah, that's just kind of like the basis of where all this started. It then evolved into looking into the different creative directors and the team they had hired and kind of their backgrounds and what they've been posting on their Instagrams and their just like kind of philosophy on life, I guess. I don't know. Some very disturbing things came out about these individuals. And like I said, that will all be down below. But what I'm here to talk to you guys today more about is a lot of you have asked my opinions on everything that has happened, and then what do we do with all the Balenciaga we own? So first, my opinions. As you guys know, if you follow me on Instagram, I thought it took them a very, very long time to come out with an apology, and then every time they did release an apology, it was kind of a caveat, like, oh, we apologize for this, but we had nothing to do with this, or we didn't approve any of this, or, you know, like, their most recent apology came out, but they don't talk about anyone having been fired or really any action that's happened within the organization, except for they do mention reorganization. So I think for me, their apologies, especially the first couple, where they kept trying to blame it on someone else, was just honestly a load of BS. They tried to say that no one higher up approved these campaigns, and I just don't believe it. I do not work in marketing. I am an attorney, but having worked very closely with clients in-house, currently being in-house at a client, I know that there is no marketing campaign that just goes out without anyone internally reviewing it. Especially a global campaign is going to be reviewed by people who are higher up. Do not try to tell all of us that, oh, you had no idea. There's no way. There is no way. You know who you hired, number one. Number two, you know how much money you're spending. And with that amount of money for a global marketing campaign, you're definitely going to review everything that's going out. And three, if you don't have that in place, like, what are you doing? Like, to me, as someone who works in legal, this seems like a giant compliance issue because, at least in the US, there are a lot of different things that need to be met with an advertising campaign, so it's not false advertising, and you don't come in violation of the FTC and their different laws and orders. So I just find it that was very hard to believe, and I think a lot of people were like, really? You have gotten caught? And I think Balenciaga knew that this was going to be controversial. This is what they do. See the trash bag, see the potato chip bag. Like, Balenciaga is known for being controversial, but this did not go over well with people, like with anyone. And they were like, oh, how are we going to backpedal from this? Who can we blame it on? We'll say we didn't look at the campaign before it went out. And no one was believing that at all. And then, you know, there were other people who came in who made their own statements, like the photographer who said he just came and took the pictures and had nothing else to do with the photo shoot, which I find very hard to believe because if you're the photographer, you're coming onto the set, you are going to move things around, you're going to set up the lighting, you're going to move the models. Like, you can't say you had nothing to do with it. Everyone kind of panicked. They're like, oh my gosh, we got caught. Who are we going to blame this on? And that just didn't sit well with me, didn't sit well with a lot of people. I mean, there was a lot of people who could have also pulled the kids out of the shoot. I know if I was someone who had a kid, I would not have been comfortable with that. I understand that this is a giant, you know, modeling campaign that could launch their career, but I just that shouldn't be a situation that a kid is put into. They have no idea what's around them, and they're looking to you as an adult to guide them into what is and what is not appropriate. And I know there have been some arguments made that it's art. Personally, that is not art I would want to be seeing. I don't think that's art most people want to be seeing. I think in general, the population believes that kids should be somewhat protected. I mean, they're little. These were really little kids. We're not even talking teenagers. These were like children. Yeah, and so that just didn't sit well with anyone. And then before Balenciaga issued their final apology, which is the one where they talk about the reorganization and hiring different entities to help them make sure that their campaigns are not going to run into this again, they said they were going to file a lawsuit against the creative director and they did file the lawsuit, allegedly, against the creative director who directed this whole shoot. And when I saw that, I was like, and I talked to my little sister who's in law school about this, and my husband, so like we're like a family of lawyers. And I was like, this makes no sense to me as someone who works in-house. That creative director, especially if they are a Balenciaga employee, has an indemnity clause in their contract, which would require the company to pay for their legal defense. So Balenciaga would basically be suing itself. It didn't make any sense to me. And they have since dismissed the suit. I think someone got angry and just like decided to file it or said they were going to file it. I never saw any official filings of it, but I, of course, did not go looking for it. And then they realized like, oh, we'd literally be paying for basically the plaintiff and the defense side, or in more layman terms, like offense and defense. You'd be literally playing against yourself and funding both sets of lawyers, which would be very expensive. I assume, at least for the Balenciaga side, they would be using a big law firm. And as someone who works for a big law firm, I know that that is very, very expensive. Defense-wise, you can spend at least $30,000 responding to one filing. So, and that could be the minimum. It really depends on who you're hiring. It didn't make any sense to me, the lawsuit. And then lastly, what didn't make sense to me was why they're not firing the people involved with all of this, and they're just saying they're reorganizing. I don't know if that's code for firing, but I have heard that the individual in question who has been involved with a lot of this, whose last name starts with a D, I cannot say it, so I'll put it on the screen, he is still a part of Balenciaga. And I think for a lot of people, until he is gone, they are not going to be wanting to buy Balenciaga. Which brings me to what to do personally with all of your stuff. So one, this is a personal decision. I cannot tell you what to do with your Balenciaga, basically. I own a lot of Balenciaga, and I think you've kind of got three options. One, keep it in your archives. For me personally, that is what I will be doing. I will be keeping it, but I will not be wearing it at this time. I'm not going to be taking pictures and tagging it on Instagram. I'm not going to be showing it to you guys here on YouTube. But I did pay for all of it with no discounts, with my hard-earned money. And at the moment, I just don't feel right just trashing it, which I know a lot of people have been burning their stuff, trashing it, cutting it up. It is still my hard-earned money, and I do not feel comfortable doing that to it at the moment. I think I'll keep it in my archives. Maybe it'll just be a part of history, unfortunate history. Maybe it will be something where Balenciaga really will turn it around and we'll see them, improve. Because for me, I definitely believe that companies and people can change and can make a difference and really realize they've made an error and repent and, become something better. And so I'd like to see Balenciaga do that. And if they do, I'll feel much more comfortable wearing their stuff. So at the moment, for me, it's a keep. Archive it. I will not be wearing it or tagging it on Instagram or YouTube. I think you can also sell your pieces. I know the market has really kind of tanked for Balenciaga because people do not want to wear it and do not want to buy it. I went past the Balenciaga store when I was in the mall last weekend and there was no one in there. But if you do go into the store or buy a store, please do not be mean to the sales associates. They are not the ones who came up with this campaign. They definitely did not approve this campaign, and they're just trying to work through the holiday season, which is kind of the worst time for this to come out because I'd imagine they do work on commission and they do make more money during the holiday season. So that is unfortunate. And then lastly, which I had mentioned previously, you could destroy it. People are cutting it up, burning it, throwing it in the trash. I think a lot of that is just kind of performance to get views on YouTube and Instagram. I don't know if people are really destroying real Balenciaga. Remember, that was the question with Chanel and all those Russian influencers cutting up their Chanel, is like, is that actually real Chanel? Were you gifted it? Were you not? Like, I think there's a lot of factors that go into it. But personally, I think it's okay to keep. I wouldn't wear it right now. I don't want to be shown as supporting everything that Balenciaga has done, but if you spend your hard-earned money on it, like, I completely understand keeping it. I know this is not going to be the most popular viewpoint. I think a lot of people do think you should like trash it, but it's just going to go to a landfill. Like, I just don't, or like you're burning something that has chemicals on it. I think there's so many like environmental impacts of just like getting rid of it. But you know, if that's really what you want to do, again, totally a personal decision. I just have been asked a couple times to make this video, and so I decided I would do it. It's not the most exciting video, obviously. I kind of wish we were never in this position, but we are, and that is what it is. But thank you so much for tuning in today, guys. I don't normally do these type of videos, but if you like handbag reveals, handbag reviews, handbag comparisons, please make sure to hit the subscribe button down below and the notification bell so you get notified every time I upload a new video, just twice a week. If you want to see how I style my bags, minus Balenciaga, please make sure to follow me on Facebook, Instagram, my blog, all of which are linked down below. Thank you so much for tuning in today, guys, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, guys.